Hi, in this video I'll talk to you about why we should not live with our old retired grandparents or parents in the United States. I remember my mom, okay, my high school friend's grandmother came to live with us in Florida. But at first she lived with my mother and she was 80 some years old. My mother and my one of my first girlfriends became friends after my girlfriend dumped me, and she helped my mother driving around to take them to the airport. And Leticia told my mother that Daniel, that's me, I would not be able to get Doña Cristina into the car by myself because she would be too heavy for me. That's what she said. Oh, it took me a while to be able to put Doña Cristina from the airport wheelchair into that car. It was a lot of work. There was another car parked next to me. I think we solved that issue. I just backed out and so on. But it was difficult to lift her up and put her into the car. And then once I took her to my mother's house, lift Doña Cristina up and put her back into the wheelchair. So that was very hard. But the second reason that 60-year-olds and 80-year-olds should not live together, my mother was about 55, something like that. They shouldn't live together because when the social worker would call my mother, Doña Cristina would answer the phone, the old lady, and she would say, the social worker would say, where is, I'll call her for this video, I'll call my mother Rosa. Where is Rosa? And Doña Cristina would say, she's at the cantina. She's at the bar drinking. Of course, where's she gonna be? And then it's funny, but it would make people get in trouble because my mother at that time was at the laundry room, which was a few doors down from the condominium apartment, right? In the hallway, down the hallway. But you really cannot leave these invalid 80-year-olds alone. Another incident that happened when Doña Cristina came to live with us was that we left her alone on a Saturday. We told her, don't open the door in case the doorbell rings. So Doña Cristina didn't obey and she fell off her bed. Then it was the mail lady with a package. She called the cops. The cops came to take Doña Cristina to the hospital. It was a big situation. The neighbors told us about it. So that was rough. And then when I moved up here, I spoke with a lady at the park. She was a mom, and she said this is the first time in 4 years that my children and I come to the park. And I said, oh really? Why? She said, oh, my dad just died, and so before that we couldn't leave him alone at home. Because there are a lot of issues over here in the United States. You cannot leave old people alone. That would be called elderly abuse or negligence. So that's why we shouldn't live live. We shouldn't live with people that are declared senior citizens. I think they're senior citizens once they are 62 years old. Um, Another occasion, my wife didn't read English. My mother didn't have her glasses, and Doña Cristina, they were changing her. And this is when I first started. Sometimes when you go to the bathroom, you use these, what do you call them, creams? Afterwards, right? You take a shower, whatever you do, then you put on a cream and so on. Uh, what is the name of that cream? It looks like a toothpaste, but you put it on your butt and on the anus. And what happened was, just like a baby, with powder and stuff. But it's not powder. It's a gel, a type of gel. And so I remember one time that I went to assist. And that was because Doña Cristina used to use Bengay on her knees and on her joints, right? And on that one occasion, they put Bengay, which is something like icy hot, or you put it on and it's smooth as a cream, but what it does, it warms up. So that was a difficult moment because they warmed her up and then they had to take it off and put something else on. And this was just a mistake. Eventually we all laughed about it, but that was a mistake. Nobody we caught it right away because Doña Cristina began to say that she was hot. That was instantaneous. All right. And then when we moved up here, we tried to live with Doña Cristina, but we couldn't make it because well, I would go to work back then, and then the wife would be alone with Doña Cristina, and the wife was... No, it was back in Miami. The wife was pregnant, and that's why she couldn't lift Doña Cristina, like from the bathroom to the chair and things like that. So we had to put her in a nursing home once we moved up here. She lived with my mother again, and then once we moved over here, Doña Cristina was put in a nursing home, which is what we tried to avoid when she was in Chicago, because she was in a nursing home. And then, well, when my mother went to Chicago to pick up Doña Cristina, before she got there on the phone, she asked Doña Cristina if she could walk. Doña Cristina said yes. And then when my mother went to pick her up in Chicago, and my first girlfriend or so went to take her to the airport and things like that, Doña Cristina could not walk. So that was tough. But then my mother told me that since Doña Cristina didn't want to be in a nursing home, she would help her. She was not going to leave her there in the nursing home. So Doña Cristina lived with us for about 2 years. And then she was put in a nursing home here. And eventually we told that she died. She was at the nursing home right here, 10 minutes away by car. We used to go see her, but then she was moved to Daytona Beach, and we couldn't go see her that far, which was 1 hour and some away. We only went one time. We felt sad about it. Doña Cristina was a lady that she had these. When I was 20, I used to call her up, or she used to call my mother, and then one time she spoke to me because I knew her grandson, and my mother was a friend of her daughter and things. And Doña Cristina was a friend of my grandfather. They went to the same old folks community center. And Doña Cristina would say, "Daniel, how is your car?" And I would say, "What? How did you know that I had a problem?" And she would say, "Oh, I had 4 sons, Daniel. They were always working on their cars." And I did know the story about her sons. 2 of them were twins. 2 of them died in the Korean War. 2 of them died in the Vietnam War. So the only one that survived everything was the daughter. Yeah, that's a sad story there. If I got the wars right, because we're listening to everything and we don't really remember what. If I got the wars right, that's how they died. Okay, talk to you later. Bye bye. So, again, don't live with older people. They are very difficult. They can get you in trouble because of the elderly abuse and neglect laws of the United States. So, in the United States, everybody has to go to a nursing home. It's just too dangerous to keep an old person in your house. Especially when you got kids, you got toys all over the place, and you can't leave them alone for a moment. Bye bye.